See how the shaft just pokes through over here? See the shaft right there? We got to get this gear in there before it gets all the way over. Now the first thing I do, you look for the sharp edge of the gear. This one's pretty even all the way around. The snap ring has a sharp edge and a dull edge. See, this edge here is sharp. This is radius, because when they stamped, they push it like this. So you want the sharp edge to be against the slot on the shaft so it won't fall out. And you want, this is going to hit up against the shoulder here, so you want to get it as flat as you can so it doesn't try to pull the key off. Let me pull the snap ring off. Alright, so you line up your key. Stick it up in there like that. Go ahead and shove this in a little bit. See how it comes across. You also take a bolt and stick it in the hole over here to hold the back of the pump. Why is it not going in the hole? There it goes. This will keeps the pump from bouncing. Okay, I put my finger on the shaft and we drove this through. You rotate the key until it lines up, slot. So now we got the two slots are lined up. Now we go ahead and put this, try to get the key to go in here. Sometimes they fight you a lot. You get all your angles right. It's going in tight or I was jamming it. The key's not tight, so I just jammed it. Okay, now you got to shove that shaft all the way through. Now you see how the key is sticking out slightly. Push the key back in. You can see the slots right there. Go ahead and rotate it around to the other side. I don't want the key to be in line with the slot because it can come out that way. So we want to make it 180 across so the key's on the back side. That's why I rotated it around. Okay, get on this other side. Okay, with these pair of 90-degree pliers I use. Get your sharp edge. Now you don't want to spread this clip any more than absolutely necessary because you want it to be tight on the shaft when you're done. I'm holding the shaft on the other side of my finger. Something's not working here. The case has got so much material in here, it's not letting my snap ring pliers in. So I have to move them differently. I got the clip barely on one on there. Use a screwdriver just to push it on. See, I just popped. And you want this key to be, or I mean the snap ring to be tight after you're done. And if you look at it, it's tight. So you have to force it up and down. So that's perfect. You want to make sure you got some in play in there. You can see we got in play. So the gear won't be tight on the bush. Alright, now we go on this side to get our bolts put in. So, top two Allens don't have nothing on them. No washer. Oil on my fingers. Those aren't tight, they're just in there. Go ahead and start these 4 bolts here. Okay, now before I tighten these 2 upper ones here, I see how much play we got in the system. Okay, this pump here has no play in it. See, it's not moving back and forth. So it's being held straight. Most pumps have a certain amount of play, so you average the play out and tighten the bolts down. Use the appropriate torque there. Yeah, unless the motor is tight. Now I'll go ahead and put the cover on it. Before you put this all together, we're going to put an oil and top hole up in here, which goes down through here. And we'll put some oil in here, and it'll come down and pre-lube the gear. So when you go to start the motor, there will be some oil on these teeth to help make it pump. Sometimes they'll cavitate on you, which means they just have air in here and no oil, and they won't pump. That would be a bad thing. Some guys pack grease and everything in there, but I don't want anything on my gasket surfaces, and I don't really want a bunch of grease in my motor either. Okay, these here, as you put a couple of bolts in. See, this gasket's tight or something, so you put your finger on it so you don't pop the gasket off. You don't want it to pull it off the gasket surface. Okay, go ahead and put these two on. Put little 4 bolts in there. Get everything started. Run them in there about halfway. Tight to the gasket in there, see? Oh, too far. Okay, now see how this saw moves a little bit? So you just kind of center it up and down to where it's in the middle position. Then you go ahead and tighten it up. Get the one down, go 180 over there, hit that one. Stagger your bolt pattern a little bit here for torquing it. Make sure the motor turns, the pump will turn. Too tight to turn my finger. So we put our oil pump drive gear in here. Now you see how it's got a bevel on this side and it's straight on this side. The bevel is for clearing this radius here in the crank. You can see there's a little fillet in here so the crank won't break. So that goes in with that. So you have to put this gear in this way. If you put it in this way, it'll stick out further. Now this one here, we got to rotate the crank to get the gears to engage. We also have to get the key right there to engage. So you got to kind of hold them and push them at the same time. This one's not wanting to go. No, it is going. Just didn't see it. So, trying to get, I'm forcing it back by holding the gear in. See the key in it? See the key up there where it went in? It goes in as the gear goes across it. Is that showing up?
Looks like it.
Yeah. As you rotate the motor forward, it pulls the gear into the crank. Now if you let it come backwards, it comes out. So just keep going the same direction of motor rotation, and you're fine. So you make sure the pump's rotating. Pump was tight there for the first turn or so, so something there was not letting it turn freely. Probably a sharp edge on the gear tooth, a little burr or something. Torque these down. Do a staggered pattern. Okay. Really rotate it again, make sure the pump turns. If the motor doesn't turn over, then that means the pump's locked up. And here the teeth are too tight, and you gotta come back and take this apart and find out what's binding.